Should you get your real estate license? Today on the Landlord Coach Daily-ish Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Landlord Coach Daily-ish Show. My name is Mark Dolfini, your host and Landlord Coach. It's really good to see you today. Going a little early today, so if you're watching this live, it is good to see you. You can go ahead and let me know that you're saying hello, and I'll try to do my best to give you a shout out. So what we're going to be talking about today, should you get your real estate license? So there are pros and cons to getting your real estate license, and there's quite a few of both. But first, I'm going to give you a story as to how I came to my own conclusion and ultimately what was right for me. So just bear with me here while I tell you my quick story. So I'm in my mid-30s and I'm headed out on a fast road to nowhere working for a large accounting firm, which I will not name. But it's one of those firms that I'm convinced all the desks converted into coffins at night, so all the partners and the managers could rest after all the blood sucking they did all day. So it was that kind of place. I was hired as a loan review consultant, and what we did, we went into different banks and looked at their loan portfolios in advance of the bank examiners coming in. I loved the job. The job was actually really fun. I really enjoyed it. And as I was good at my job, and what I was not good at was all the office nonsense and politics that went on. I'll spare you all the details, but in spite of the really good pay I was receiving, I absolutely hated that job. I didn't hate the work, I just hated the people. And with very few exceptions, they were just absolutely horrible people that worked there. So much so that, when it got to the point of me spending 50% of my day plotting the slow murder of one person or another, I knew then it was time to go. Mercifully, I was fired from the only job I've ever been fired from, and what a blessing that was, because I immediately entered into a 12-step program, and I got my soul back, mostly, and started down my own road to business success. So the reason I told you that story is because even though I was making good money, in fact, I was making really good money, I absolutely positively hated what I was doing. And that was the measuring stick that I used for almost every activity for years. And how much money could I make from this activity or that activity, right? It didn't matter that I was trading my health and mental well-being for, for working for a bunch of corporate mercenaries. No kidding. About 3 months after I left, I found out that one of the supervisors there literally was found dead at his desk. It was a shame too, because he was actually a really good dude. But in the context of all that, so let's get back to the topic. Should you get a real estate license? Now, for a point of clarity, I have my real estate license, and there are some advantages to that. For example, now I'm a property manager. In many states, there is a requirement to hold a broker's license in order to do property management, which is mostly what I use my license for. I am a managing broker as opposed to an associate broker, which means the buck stops with me. So the associate brokers are what used to be known as the real estate salesperson, and they work for the managing broker. So if you think about it in the hierarchy, you've got the managing broker and then all the associate brokers who work for him or her, right? All right, so with that cleared up, what are the pros of getting your broker's license? Well, there's a lot of pros. You get a lot of good training. You're going to be around some really high performers in the industry. Maybe if you can even be mentored by one of them. A lot of times you can really go a lot of places because you'll be getting some good training, additional training, not just the getting the licensing part. You can make a pretty good living at it. You can actually, there's people who do really, really well with it. Obviously making your own hours. You also have lots of opportunities to buy real estate for yourself. You can get pocket listings. You find out a lot of the stuff that's hitting the market before anybody else does, right? And honestly, if you're a people person, you could love it. What are the potential downsides of getting a real estate license? Now, again, this is not meant to be exhaustive. This is just my perception. So obviously do your own due diligence. But, one of the things that I saw is, and that people didn't recognize, is that you are going to be held to a higher standard as a real estate professional, which some people think is unfair. Well, no, it's not unfair, because you are now a real estate professional, and that means you can't claim you didn't know about, say, violating fair housing laws and so forth. You also have to be sure to disclose at every opportunity that you hold a real estate license. I mean, even to like the guy handing you bread from across the deli counter. And honestly, I know a lot of realtors, and I'm pretty sure that they've had the word realtor on their driver's license placed in front of their blood type, because they just want everybody to know. The other potential issue is that you have to be careful about deals that could be perceived of you taking advantage of a seller, especially if these are deals that you're doing on your own. For example, I knew a couple of people that held a license, bought a property for under market value from a very distressed seller, and turned the property around and sold it at a profit. Even though they disclosed everything that they were going to do, in this one particular case, the original seller got wind of the sale, and not only did the realtor have to turn over all their profit to the seller, they also had to pay a fine and take additional hours of continuing education. Now, I don't know all the details of both of those deals, but in one of those situations, I am very doubtful that this person had any intention of taking advantage of the seller. In fact, I know that they kind of pulled him out of foreclosure. What I think what happened is the former neighbor found out about the deal, told the original seller about it, and of course they felt that they were due. That's just the way that goes. And unfortunately, that is one of the potential downsides. So you've got to be able to manage that risk. The other thing is that you have to recognize too is that until you form a team, this is very much a job. And if you know what you're signing up for, that's okay. But there's going to be many hours and days that you're going to be spent doing it if you're really going to be successful at it. So again, your idea, if you want to get into this and make a team out of it, fire yourself as quickly as possible and start to develop a team. Now, the reason it was good for me to hold a license is because I wanted to manage properties for other people. And at the time, I was also coming out of my $4.5 million hole. So I was looking to try to make money any way that I could. And honestly, because I am good at managing properties for myself, it was a good mechanism for me to, to do that. And I could acquire additional properties from time to time if I wanted to do so. Now, has it changed for me? Yeah, somewhat. And I can see perhaps at some point in the future when I'll stop doing it, where I don't hold on my license anymore. Look, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, is it in your vision to hold a real estate license? Talk to as many people as you possibly can that hold licenses, that are also investors, if that's also something that you want to do. Now, if all of the answers come back that it's just a good way to make money, as I'm putting air quotes up, I really suggest you take another strong look at it again, lest you end up spending, 50% of your days plotting the slow murder of one person or another. All right, well, that's all I have for today. So for those of you who are not familiar with the show, you can go ahead and check out landlordcoach.com/videos for a free copy of The Time Wealthy Investor. All I ask you to do is pay shipping, and that is all I have for today. So please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have an awesome day, and I will see you guys next time.